Hello, beautiful truth seekers. Welcome in or welcome back to the Third Flame Tarot. My name is Amber. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so happy to have you here. This is going to be another whatever comes out reading. I've been feeling really inspired recently to do more of these whatever comes out readings. It allows me to release control completely and surrender to spirit, allowing whatever messages need to come through. Now, if you're new to my channel, I always use my singing bowl and Palo Santo to cleanse the energy. I will pray and also do a meditation before I hit the record button on the camera. I like to talk about these meditations because they generally give me a pretty good overview of what I need to be focusing on during the reading. And today's meditation was focused around a troubled 15-year-old teenage girl. The first thing I see in meditation is a cockroach. The cockroach is scurrying around in and out of crevices, cracks, and corners through cabinets, but eventually ends up in the middle of a kitchen floor. The next thing I see is a man's leg from the knee down, and he's wearing a shoe, a tennis shoe on, come out and stomp on the cockroach. After he picks up his foot after stepping on the cockroach, I'm looking at the carcass, and from out of the carcass come hundreds of tiny cockroaches, and they all scurry about in different directions. And that scene fades out. The next thing I know, I'm standing on a stairwell looking up the stairs. The stairs are infinite. I cannot see the top of the stairwell, but what I can see is a black dot making its way down the stairs. As it gets closer, I realize that it is a black ball about the size of a volleyball. And as it bounces past me on the stairs, I watch it go down and realize that this is an infinite stairwell. I cannot see the bottom of the stairs, nor can I see the top of the stairs. That scene fades out, and now I'm in the blackness, and I can feel a sense of anxiety. And I auditorily heard lack of mental clarity. And that's when I was thinking, while I was in meditation, there's somebody with ADHD. Somebody has anxiety or ADHD. That's when a scene begins to fade in, and I am looking face to face with the character from one of Hayao Miyazaki's animations, No Face. So me and No Face are face to face, and we are staring at each other. It's a very ominous and eerie feeling, but then he turns his face, his mask, No Face face, and floats away. That scene fades out, and the next thing I'm looking at is a girl sitting in the driver's seat of a car, and she's in all black. I cannot see her face. It was like my camera perspective was just behind her on her right side. So I was looking down at her. I cannot see her face, but I can see that she's in all black, and I watch her reach up, grab the seatbelt, and click it into place. And I watched this scene like repeat. And I remember as I'm watching this thinking, oh, is she learning how to drive? That's what it felt like. It felt like a teenage girl who was learning how to drive. But there was definitely a feeling of sadness surrounding this. That scene fades out, and the last thing I see is a hand holding a cake pop, a pink cake pop. And this hand takes the cake pop up to a mouth, and they bite into it. And within the center of the cake pop is black cake. And that was the end of my meditation. get started. So it was pretty clear in my meditation that that Spirit wanted to talk about a troubled 15-year-old girl that may be struggling to deal with the awkward space in between childhood and adulthood. I felt a sense of anxiety, depression, and lack of clarity or focus, a bit of ADHD. And the girl in this meditation could have one of those challenges or all of those challenges, but I definitely felt like she was really struggling to find her way in life. Now, even though I didn't see a parent within the meditation, I felt a parent there. The parental energy was there in the background somewhere. And, you know, I'm not a parent, so I don't know what it's like, but I can only imagine when you're a parent of a child that's going through some difficult challenges mentally and spiritually, that it can be really difficult for the parent too. It felt like the parent might be trying to help their child, but are just met with resistance. All right, Spirit, we're here to get an energy reading for the collective consciousness that this story already belongs to. We are open and receiving to whatever messages you wish to come through. We're here to get an energy reading on the collective consciousness that this story already belongs to. We are open and receptive to whatever messages you wish to come through. Last shuffle. All right, Spirit, can we get 3 base cards, please? What's the base energy for this read? The Sun in reverse. King of Cups. Yeah, there's the parent. There's the parent, and it's a masculine. I did feel like the parent in this story was a masculine. I did see a masculine's leg come out and stomp on the cockroach. And the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. That's the lack of direction right there. Okay, so the first card we've got here is the Sun in the reverse. There's the sense of depression that I was getting. The Sun in the upright is all about joy, happiness, illumination, pleasure, fun, playfulness, childhood. But in the reverse, it's a lack of those things. It's a sense of sadness, like the light is gone. And then the next card we've got here is the King of Cups. And I felt a dad in the meditation, and I did see, even though I didn't see his face, I felt a masculine energy like a dad. And I did see, like I said, the masculine leg come out and stomp on the cockroach. Yeah, it's like you might feel like you're trying to solve the problem by squishing the cockroach, but it just turns the problem into many tiny problems. like it's not resolving anything. You might feel like whatever you're doing is not making anything any better. The King of Cups. Now, the Cups is all about emotion. So the King of Cups is deeply sensitive. He's emotional. He's intuitive, kind, compassionate. But you may be feeling, if you're the father watching this, you may be feeling really emotional about this whole situation. The last card we got in the base read is the Page of Pentacles. Now the pages are the young royal cards, court cards. The pages are the first in the court cards. They represent youth. The Page of Pentacles is the student. It's all about honing a skill. But in the reverse, it's a lack of direction. It's not working on skill. You know, your child might be not doing good in school. They might be really falling behind when it comes to schoolwork. Okay, let's get some more cards here. All right, Spirit, what else can you tell us about this situation, please? Can you tell us anything about the young girl and how she's feeling? What is bringing her so much sadness here with the Sun in reverse? Why is she so sad? Let's get 2 more shuffles. That's 1. Whoa, that just flipped over. And that's 2. Guides. All right, Spirit. What else can you tell us about this situation, please? How is this young girl feeling? What is making her feel this way? Jealousy and courage. Jealousy is the first card out. She might be looking at her peers and comparing herself to her peers, and this is causing a lot of emotions within her. You know, being a teenager is really hard. You look at people around you and you do so much comparison, and it makes you feel like all of your flaws and insecurities are just under a microscope. And every little flaw about yourself becomes really apparent. This is very common for teenagers to feel this way. And when you look at all of your flaws about yourself and compare yourself to other people like that, it can cause a lot of depression, because you don't feel good enough. You feel like you don't rank high enough to be worth anything. I feel like this teenage girl might be struggling with her worthiness. And then the next card here is courage. It feels like there might be a lack of courage as well. She doesn't feel confident enough in herself and her worthiness. And this is causing a lot of sadness. I love that while I was shuffling, the guides card came out. It just flipped out of the deck and landed. And I placed it here in front of the King of Cups. This feels to me like the father figure in this story is being guided. Like, you are surrounded. If you're the parent watching this, the father watching this, you are definitely guided through this. You're being watched. You have a spirit team, a spirit guides that are trying to help you through this. And if you quiet your mind and go silent, you'll be able to hear them a bit better. Another great way to talk to your spirit guides is pay attention to synchronicities. Don't dismiss those, because that's how spirit guides communicate. You are definitely guided. You might not feel it right now, but you are. You know, this card here too looks like water. It's a blue card with what looks like waves on it. And we also have the King of Cups here, which is, the cups are emotion, right? They are the water element. They represent the water element. But yeah, you know, I asked Spirit, I said, what is causing this teenage girl so much sadness? And it definitely feels here like she does not feel worthy enough. She's maybe comparing herself and looking at all of her flaws under a microscope, which is giving her a lack of courage here to really move forward in her life and come out of this dark place. All right, Spirit, what else can you tell us about this story? Can you give us one more card for the teenage girl? Anything else that you can help describe her and what she's going through, what she's feeling at this time, so that we can better understand her? Can you give us one more card for the teenage girl, please? All right. Can you tell us anything else about the teenage girl so we can better understand her? What else? What else about the girl? The Phoenix. That's death and rebirth. You know, Pluto is in retrograde right now. And Pluto retrograde is best described as the phoenix rising from the ashes. Pluto is the planet, is Scorpio's planet, and it's all about death and rebirth. I think this is a good omen from Spirit stating that she will get through this. There will be a transformation. It's just going to take time and patience. It might be hard right now, but you'll get through this. You both will get through this. I'm being told not to take this deck yet. All right, we're going to take this deck. Spirit, what kind of advice do you have for the parent of this story? What can you tell me about the parent in this story? Any advice for them on how they can move forward in this situation? What they should be doing to help their child? Last shuffle. All right, Spirit. Any words of advice or wisdom for the parent of this story, please? Oh, wow. Look at that. The deck just slipped and fell right out of my hands. You know, you might feel like it's a mess. You might feel like this whole situation is just a big mess and you're losing control. That's how you feel. You feel like you've absolutely, completely lost control of the situation. And I definitely get a feeling of helplessness. 100%. All right, Spirit. Can we get some words of advice or wisdom for the parent in this story, please? What kind of advice or wisdom do you have for the parent in this story? Thank you. Whoa, we've got Death and the Knight of Wands. Death. It's inevitable. It is an ending that leads to a new beginning. I feel like Spirit is saying here that surrendering to this is going to be really important, because you might be grasping for straws, trying to control the situation, trying to make things better. But there's nothing that you can really do. The only thing that you can really do is just provide as much love as possible. The next card we've got is the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is the fastest moving knight in the deck. And if you notice here, we've got a black circle. And in my meditation, I saw a black ball bouncing down a flight of stairs. I would like to pull the book out and read you the definition of this card. I feel like there's going to be some information in there that'll be valuable. Okay, Knight of Wands. Here we go. The Knight of Wands. Fiery personality, impulsiveness, dynamic progression. It is difficult to ignore the dark atmosphere that surrounds this card. The violent characteristics of the element of fire merged with air make an explosive combination. This knight has a fiery character with a huge ego and a strong inclination to conflict. He represents someone who is incredibly competitive, running over anything or anyone in his way to get what he wants. However, this impulsive and destructive behavior could not bring exactly what we expect. In fact, conflict brings more conflict, and a certain pattern is created. That's just what I was talking about. You know, trying to control the situation is just going to make it worse. Unlike the page and the queen, he has no sunflowers at his feet. Instead, a burnt and dark landscape dominates the background. His journey to the unknown leads him to a dark place where he cannot see his steps with clarity, so he may run towards unwanted territories. This dark night reflects his immaturity and obstinacy. He is a person who acts first and thinks later. He brings a red flag, commonly identified as a danger or a warning. This is a sign that provokes a hostile reaction, an invitation to fight. His dark green outfit, contrary to the fresh green symbolism, demonstrates a daring, impulsive behavior, being also a symbol of inexperience and materialism. Instead of a horse, the Knight of Wands rides a dromedary, symbol of an arduous and exhausting journey. This animal has the legendary skill to travel up 100 desert miles without water, which reflects its endurance and ability to adapt to extreme environments. For that reason, the unyielding dromedary is the best ally for the knight's careless and high-risky adventures. The card advises you to control your fire. If you side with your immaturity and mindless actions, these may lead you into the abyss. From a positive perspective, the knight represents dynamism and progression in your projects. He is strongly motivated and creative, but he still has a tendency to exaggerate. As he moves forward, he starts enthusiastic materialization of ideas and gives them the fuel to progress. It is possible to say that his journey is full of dangers, though it turns everything even more exciting. Yeah, conflict creates more conflict. It says here, the card advises you to control your fire. So Spirit's advice here is to definitely, with the Death card here in the upright, is to surrender to this ending that leads to a new beginning. And make sure to control your fire. When you feel challenged by a situation with this teenage girl, there might be arguing, fighting, and conflict at times. And Spirit is asking you to control your fire here. Try to give love as much as possible and express yourself with compassion and kindness. I mean, we've got the King of Cups here. That's the king of emotion. He's an emotional king. And I can understand that it's frustrating. You want to help your kid. And when they act up or challenge you, it's easy to just use conflict against conflict. But that just creates an explosion, right? With the Knight of Wands here. It just creates an explosion. Okay. I feel like getting a couple more cards out of this deck. All right, Spirit. Any more words of advice or wisdom for the parent in this story? Any more words of advice or wisdom, please? Yeah, the reason why this girl is feeling so unhappy with the Sun in reverse here, the reason she's so unhappy is because she feels a lack of confidence, for once, a lack of courage and confidence, and she might be scrutinizing herself way too hard and judging herself. Every little flaw about herself is just so apparent to her that this gives her a sense of worthlessness. She doesn't feel worthy. And when somebody doesn't feel worthy, the reason why they act out, get angry, or become reckless is because they're sad on the inside. And that sadness needs love. It really does. I mean, now, this doesn't mean to say that you just give her full reins and let her run amok. That's not what Spirit's saying here. But arguing, fighting, yelling, anything like that is just going to make it worse. You know, when you find yourself in that situation, maybe you could try just saying, look, I really love you and I don't want to fight with you, but I love you to the point where I have to protect you too. I have to take care of you. And express yourself in a loving and caring way, you know, with the King of Cups here. And you could even try asking, like, what can I do? I feel helpless. Like, express yourself. Say, I feel helpless to solving and helping anything here. How can I help? Maybe that could help the situation. See, you could try. All right, Spirit. Any more words of advice or wisdom for the parent of this story and how they should handle this situation? Okay, what else do we have? Any more words of advice or wisdom for the parent of this story, please? Any more words of advice or wisdom for the parent in this story? Thank you. We've got protection. All right, Spirit. What else do we have for the parent, please? Last shuffle. Okay. Elephant. The first thing I thought of was the elephant in the room. Elephant in the room. Talk about the elephant in the room. You know, with the King of Cups coming out, I mean, he's a very emotional king. This feels already to me like the parent in this story needs to express their emotions, needs to express how they're feeling. Maybe come out and actually say, like, I love you so much, and I hate seeing you feeling this way. How can I help? You know? Address the elephant in the room. You know, apologize if you've been angry or aggressive or fiery, like perhaps you've lost your temper more than a couple of times. You know, it feels like Spirit is asking you to address the elephant in the room here come out and say, you know, the only reason I've gotten angry in the past is because I love you and I care about you and I don't like seeing you like this. How can I help? If you haven't already tried that, it feels like Spirit is encouraging you to try that. You know, I'm noticing on this card too, there are lotus flowers all around the card here. And lotuses are very symbolic. They grow out of the murky swamps. They're a beautiful flower that grow from the darkness. They grow from the murk. And I feel like Spirit is saying when you address the elephant in the room, beauty will come out of this sadness. You might not see it immediately. You might not see the effects of this immediately, but it will sink in. And it feels like it could really help this situation if you were to express yourself emotionally with love and compassion. Okay, let's read the definition of the elephant. Okay. Salamander, here we go. Elephant. Number 10. Here we go. Okay, the elephant symbolizes obstacles, strength, majesty, wisdom, and endurance. Perhaps one of the most famous images of an elephant is that of the Hindu god Ganesh. He is the mover of obstacles, and people often pray to him when they need help overcoming a challenge. If the elephant has arrived in your reading, it's possible you have an obstacle in your path now. There is strength and a certain wisdom required to tackle this pesky roadblock, as it may seem as heavy or as big as an elephant. And that's exactly the feeling I got in my meditation with the cockroach. It felt like there was an obstacle to overcome, but just stepping on the cockroach didn't solve anything. It actually made it worse. So it says there is strength and a certain wisdom required to tackle this pesky obstacle or roadblock, as it may seem as heavy or as big as an elephant. However, along with strength, we must also have grace. Figuring out how to embody both at once and how to embody them effectively is where wisdom comes in. It's likely that the obstacle you're facing now is a frustrating one. Maybe the situation has been playing out for some time and you find yourself feeling defeated and discouraged. The elephant card also calls for resiliency and endurance. Remember that elephants are often symbols of good luck. Yours may be right around the corner. Further reflection. Despite being one of the largest creatures in the animal kingdom, the elephant is a gentle giant. Imagine the force an elephant can muster and how instead choose to channel that force through softness. How can embodying the same approach serve you now? That's exactly what I was feeling. It's like there's an obstacle, right? You're facing a challenge right now, but getting angry is not going to solve anything. Getting frustrated is not going to solve anything. You have to approach this with kindness and compassion. It says, choose to channel the force through softness. Right? It says, it's likely the obstacle you're facing now is a frustrating one. Yeah, Spirit is definitely encouraging you to use as much love as you can in this situation. And with time, it will play out. And with the Phoenix card being here, I mean, that's rising from the ashes. You will overcome this, and she will overcome this, but patience, kindness, and compassion is going to be crucial for the resolution of this situation. Let's get one final card out of the Moonology deck. Now, the Moonology is all about emotion. The moon symbolizes the deep subconscious. Oh, look at that. A card just flopped right out for me. But what I was saying is, oh, there's two here. The moon symbolizes the deep subconscious. It's our fears, our anxieties, our secrets. It's illusions. But the moon also illuminates the shadows within the night. It's about facing our fears and illusions. Let's see what we've got. Moonflower, take a risk. Moonlit, embrace uncertainty. Yeah, Spirit, if you're the parent watching this, Spirit definitely wants you to take a bit of a step back, not allow your child to run amok or anything, but take a step back and calm yourself down and try to come back at this with more compassion and love in your heart. Take a risk and embrace uncertainty. You know, trust is really important too. Trusting that Spirit always has a plan, right? God always has a plan. And embracing uncertainty is so important in all of our lives. Releasing control, right? Releasing so much control over the situation. I would like to read this out of the book for you. Okay, Moonflower. Here we go. Moonflower, number 62. Moonflower, take a risk. Do you have the courage to spin the wheel of life and see what comes up? Playing it safe will not serve your current situation. No one is saying you should take a massive risk and gamble everything away, but nor should you refuse to make your move. It could be time for you to adopt a more positive mental attitude and see your glass as half full. A regular gratitude practice will help. For example, every Friday night. Try doing your practice with friends or family for a few weeks. Adventure is calling you somehow, and this card has come up because your higher self wants you to look further into it. As Marianne Williamson famously wrote, "Your playing small does not serve the world. It's time for you to take a risk and show the world who you really are and how you really feel." Yeah, take a risk and show your child how you really feel. Try expressing yourself through emotions with the elephant here. Let it come out. Tell them how much you care about them and love them. It says, take a risk and show how you really feel. And be more optimistic. Yeah, definitely. And then the next card is Moonlit, embrace uncertainty. Let's read that card. Okay, Moonlit 72. A moonlit night might be beautiful, but it makes it hard to really see what's going on if you need to. Under very gentle moonlight, we simply can't see what's going on around us. Yeah, it's like you can't fully see what she's going through. You can't totally understand it. I mean, you can try, and the only way to do that is to really ask and see if they'll open up, see if she'll open up. But this card is showing like it's hard to see what's really going on under the surface. If we go out into the night and the moon is in the early stages of the waxing cycle or the late stages of the waning cycle, there isn't much illumination. If this card comes up for you, it suggests that you don't yet know the full story around whatever question you're asking. It could simply be that someone else involved in your situation still isn't clear on what they do or don't want, so they don't tell you. Deception may be at play, which can bring up a lot of anxiety and even fear. All is not lost though. Remember, the moon go in phases. And even if there isn't much light around your situation right now, in the fullness of time, everything will be clarified and illuminated. Yeah, that's exactly what I got. You know, with the death card here, patience, time and patience and compassion is needed right now. Embrace this uncertainty. It says additional meanings for the card. Trust your feelings, explore your intuition. The path forward isn't clear yet, and uncertainty is part of your current process. Yeah, finding acceptance around this uncertainty is going to not only make you happier, but it'll make them happier too. And finding the joy within the situation. I know that's not easy, but with Take a Risk here, it was encouraging you to be more optimistic. And that energy, if you hold that energy of optimism around somebody who's really sad, it will eventually start rubbing off. All right, let's get one final card. Okay, Spirit, thank you so much for this beautiful message. What else do you have for the collective that is watching and resonates with this story, please? Can you give us one final message, words of advice or wisdom for the collective consciousness that resonates with this story, please? Last shuffle. Okay. Any other words of advice or wisdom, please, Spirit? What else? What else for the parent of this story? Thank you. The bear. It's giving me vibes like the elephant. But generally, the bear symbolizes a mother figure, a parental figure, like mama bear. You might feel very protective of your child, and this is where your anger and frustration is coming from, because you just want what's best for your baby. You just want what's best for your child, and you want to protect them. But as your child grows up, you're going to have to take some steps back a little bit and let them figure some things out on their own. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It's been an absolute pleasure to read for you. I sincerely hope that this reading was helpful, and I wish you the best of luck on your journey. We'll see you again in the next reading. Namaste.